Good evening all! Hope you had a good weekend. I've caught up with some of you this morning at the HIT session, but for those that are just joining us, and we've got a lamb tagine. Alright, lots of people keep asking me about vegetarian dishes and vegan dishes. This one is one that we do at Prep, so our food delivery business. And can simply be adapted into vegetarian or vegan really simply by removing the lamb. Simple as that, alright? I am going to use a chicken stock this evening with this one just because I've got chicken stock and I haven't got vegetable stock left over. But what we actually do out of the kitchen is we make this dish with vegetable stock, alright? And then all we do for the people that want to order it with lamb is that we cook off the lamb and we add that separately, and it is simple as that. So if you are vegetarian, if you are vegan, if you want to follow this dish, then simply get yourself a vegetable stock and lose the lamb, everything else within these ingredients here. We have got parsley, pepper, chilies. I've got some leftover thyme, I'll talk about that in a second. I've got some swede, I've got some onion, some butternut squash, tin tomato, salt and pepper, coconut oil. I've got some cumin, some cinnamon, some cayenne pepper, some turmeric, some paprika, and a little bit of Moroccan spice. Alright? Now, as you know, on a Monday, that's the day that I go through the, I say as you know, for those of you that haven't joined us yet, Monday is the day that I go through the fridge, okay, and I have a look at, or even Sunday, I go through the fridge before I make my shopping list for Monday, and I look at the things that need to be used up. I hate wasting food, but as you'll often find on Monday, I'll do a dish like this that will use up a lot of ingredients, alright? So I've got some little bits left over from last week, some peppers that needed using up, some onions and carrots that needed using up, some parsley that's been opened. You don't necessarily have to put thyme into it, but I've got thyme there and I don't want to let it go to waste, so I'll chuck it in. It will just add a little bit of flavour to the dish. So, first things first, I'll tell you what, I'm going to push all this over to one side, so I've kind of made a big pile of it so you can't really see what's going on. So guys, I've got a leg of lamb, and what I'm going to do, so it's got the bone in it still, so I'm just going to tunnel the bone out. Alright, so what I mean by that is I'm just going to get inside here, I'm just going to go around the bone and I'm going to remove the bone. You'll notice before I get anyone saying, oh, you're using a green board and a blue knife. I'm using a filleting knife because I find taking the sinew off, which I started to do just before you come live, right, just started removing some of the sinew and some of the fat from the outside of the lamb, and I find using you can see how I'm keeping that really nice and thin and I'm not losing any of the meat. So very similar to ways what you get rid of the skin on salmon and whatnot. So I find the filleting knife is really handy for using on this. Alright? Okay, so let's get in there. It's just going to go in and around that bone. Obviously you don't want to lose too much of the meat, so I'm just going to get in and around that bone. Okay, guys, there's lots of different ways that you could cook this dish tonight. For demo purposes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to brown off all my ingredients and then I'm going to pop them into my casserole dish and I'm going to get it into the oven. Alright, so what I'll do is we'll go all the way up to getting it into the oven, and then I'll post up some pictures later on of what it looked like. I'm going to serve this with couscous, okay, but you don't necessarily need to hang around for half an hour, 45 minutes waiting for my tagine to cook. However, you could also do this completely on the top. So if you are limited, I know lads in the military maybe have only got hobs and whatnot, haven't got access to ovens, right? So if you are limited, this is something you could do completely in a big, nice, deep dish like so, and you could just get the tin foil over the top of it, cover it, right, and just let that cook away on the top. Another really good way, you could completely do it in the oven, okay? So I could prep all my vegetables and my lamb, okay, and then you could just literally pop it all in your dish, and you could pop it all in the oven for a couple of hours. Yeah, it's one of those you could pop on a Sunday before you go out for a walk, all right, and then come back and shebang, it's done. Because your couscous that you're going to serve it with is going to take about 2 minutes. All right, I'm almost through. So I've just been very careful that I didn't lose too much of the meat. Hannah's turning away. She doesn't like that type of thing. She likes eating it, but she doesn't like seeing it all. Right, so let's just cut down through that. I'm going to lose any of the big bits of fat. I'll get my pan on in a second and we're just going to brown that off. All right. What's another way you could do this? You could do this in a slow cooker. Yeah, bang this on in the morning again. Put all your ingredients in there raw and just let that slow cooker do its business. That would be a really cool way as well. Okay, I'm not going to mess around with that too much more. Right, guys, what we're going to do with this then, just nice big, I say nice big, edible chunks, all right? You want the whole dish, so your vegetables and your meat, to be in edible sizes, so you don't have to cut through it, okay, to start eating it. Okay, so you could serve this in a bowl. Right, traditionally, the tagine, it comes out in like a clay pot, almost with a little chimney on the top, which we've enjoyed in Marrakesh several times. Again, traditionally, they've used apricots and different things in there, chickpeas. I've gone with what I've got available today. Okay, so I've gone with lots of root vegetables, but like I said, you could as easily, get the chickpeas are really nice in it. I'm going to finish this. I've got some mint. Actually, going to finish with this some mint.
Lentils as well.
Lentils, you could do lentils. Yeah, it's not traditional, but there's no reason why you couldn't. Talking of which, we are going to do a nice vegan dish later in the week, and we're going to do a lentil, because I do keep getting asked. We're not vegans, and obviously this is our. We're not vegans. That's what I'm chopping through the lamb. And this is obviously our dinner. However, if the need is there and the want is there, and people want to follow and want to see some vegan stuff, then I'm more than happy to do it. And we do like a curry, and we do like our vegetables. So yeah, lentil and vegetable curry on Thursday. Okay, so I'm just going to take that sinew away, using my filleting knife again. It's just not that palatable. It's like a very thin layer of fat. Right, and you want the fat in the lamb, because that's obviously going to give it loads of flavour, but you don't want bits that are going to be difficult to eat. So I'll take that away. I don't want to lose all that bit of lamb there though, so let's just take that. Cool. So that's the only reason I'm going back to my filleting knife, guys, is just to take away a little bit of that sinew. Yeah, so if you're going back to work soon, right, maybe you're someone that uses a slow cooker. This is something that you could, prepare the night before, pop it all in that slow cooker in the morning, come back, get home from work. Literally, all you've got to do is put your couscous on. Fantastic. Loads of goodness. Lots of vegetables in it. Lots of protein in this meat. It's not one of the leanest meats that we've used. Lamb's obviously not one of the leanest cuts, especially the leg. But it is very flavoursome. Okay. Any questions so far?
No questions. Lots of people watching, but no questions.
No questions. You can obviously, I boned that at the beginning, so you can obviously get your butcher or anything to bone it for you, so it makes it a little bit more easier. I think you struggle to buy it boned.
What, in a supermarket?
In a supermarket, yeah.
Right.
If you went to a butcher's and you asked them to bone it for you, they'd do it in no time. They'd have that boned and tied by the time it's taken me just to take the bone out. Okay, so just as I get towards the end of this big piece here, what I'm going to do, the other good thing with this dish, is, as you're probably looking at that, there's quite a lot of meat going on there, and plus by the time you've got all the vegetables into it as well, we do tend to have a lot of this one left over. And if I've ever done it with just vegetables, and we've got a leftover, it blends up really good into a soup as well. Obviously you've got all the flavours, all the Moroccan flavours, all the vegetables, all the stock and the tomatoes and that we use. Literally just blend it up, guys, warm it all through into a soup, and it's amazing. Okay, has anyone noticed my new haircut this evening? I let Hannah loose with the scissors. No, not the scissors, the clippers.
Still got both ears?
Still got both ears.
You haven't got a wedge?
No.
You're alright.
Don't look like Lloyd from Dumb and Dumber.
No. Or Tommy Shelby.
Or Tommy Shelby, I knew you were going to say that. Right guys, we've just got a bit of coconut oil going on over there. Last little bit of meat being cut. All I'm going to do then, right, so like I said, for the purposes of this evening, I'm just going to brown my meat off, I'm going to brown my vegetables off. So as I'm going, I'm just going to pop them into the pan. They'll be going into the same pan because ultimately they're going to go into the same pot and they're all going to cook together. Right, and then I will finish this off in the oven and I will send you the pictures, or I'll post up the pictures of the finished product later on. Okay, almost done on this bit. Okay, remember, edible pieces, you should really be able to eat this whole dish with a spoon. Right, so in a nice bowl with some couscous and a spoon. You don't really need a knife and fork, so it should all be nice and even. Right, oil's on, oil's getting hot. Lovely, let's get that moving around the pan. Let's get that in. I'm going to get the border wiped down and we're going to start getting on with our vegetables.
Rich Turner says I did a good job. There's a little patch at the back, but
I can't see that, don't worry.
he can't see that.
That's it, don't matter. Okay, quick wipe down. Let's get rid of our waste. Okay. Every now and then we'll give that one a quick stir then. Right, we'll use our spatula. Right, all we're trying to achieve with that is get it nice and browned off. So I've got my big casserole dish there. Right, everything will start going into that one. Okay, onion and garlic next. Woo. So we'll dice. Onion, it's a little bit more rustic, this. So similar, we're not going to dice it. I just said dice, we're not going to dice. We're going to go to similar sizes to what we just did with the beef. Right, because the onion will wilt down a little bit smaller as it's in that, as it's frying in the pan, and also as it then continues to cook in our casserole dish. So we don't need to go quite as small as a dice. A little more, for those that did the Mediterranean vegetable dish with me, a little bit more kind of that size. Okay, so we'll only go 1, 2, 3, there we go, there, and chunk, chunk, chunk. There we go, done.
Evening, Coochie.
Coochie!
Nice to see you doing your press-ups, mate.
Yeah. Coochie and Rich Hill, he's been doing his.
Yeah.
Oh, down there is. One of the Mitchell brothers, I don't know where they are. Right. So that's going to go in next. Garlic. We will go a little bit smaller with the garlic. No one wants big chunks of garlic. I'll take 2 big cloves of the garlic, guys. Come on, off you come. Off your pot. There we go. Get rid of our waste in a minute. So I'm just going to use the heel of the knife, pop the garlic, take the root off. Skin should come away. Not so good tonight. Nicely. Right, so I don't really go quite as small when I'm doing like curries and things like that. I don't need to dice it quite as small. I'm just going nice small slices. Alright, so just down through, using my nail. Okay. Lovely. A nice bit of garlic. Just pop the other one. Take the root off. Okay, and just get rid of that bit. And then nice slices through there. Okay, we'll give that lamb stir again now. Just move that around, make sure it's browning off everywhere. So this will be quite tender once it cooks, so I'm going to brown it off in here. Like I said, tonight I'll probably give it another 30 to 45 minutes in the oven. If you were going to do this from raw, I would suggest about minimum of 2 hours, probably 2 to 2.5. If you put it on a nice heat at about 180. It's ultimately it's your vegetables. You're waiting to reduce the crunch out of your vegetables. You want them to be. We normally have our vegetables quite crunchy, but this is a dish where they you are trying to make them quite soft. All right. So onion, garlic. Let's go peppers next. We'll put the peppers in with the onion and garlic. They can all go together. So you don't have to select a colour as such. I've got butternut squash and carrot, which are both obviously quite vibrantly orange. So I chose to go with yellow and green on this one because then obviously the sauce is already red as well. So I'm just trying to get a mixture of colours. So nice, fairly big chunks on these. So similar to the onion. So you can see the prep. It's quite rustic. It's quite. What's the other word, Hans? Can you think of the other word?
No.
No. I don't know about you. Stick with rustic. So all I've done is take the lid off, remember, and then just popping the root through, and we get to use all of that pepper. So no wastage. So just fingers in, take out the guts of the pepper. That removes all the seeds. We've got a nice hollow pepper left. You might do that one day, Hannah, eh?
What's that?
You'll cut the pepper like I've just shown you.
I do it my own way.
Okay, so I'm going to remove the lamb now. Okay, so nice. So the lamb's nice and browned off. Beautiful. Right, I'm just going to use those same juices in a second. So that lamb's going to go in there. This is where he loses a load. Go on, lamb, in you go. Lovely. So lamb's gone in. A tad bit more oil. A bit more oil's gone down. So like I said, same pan, guys. But obviously, that's not something we would do out in the kitchen if we were preparing a vegetarian dish. The lamb gets cooked completely differently. And actually, we use big vats up there, big, massive saucepans where we cook everything up, obviously because we're cooking to volume. Right, let's get the heat back going through there. We'll start getting our vegetables in. They're going to go in. Next ones that we'll do then will be the butternut squash, the carrot, and the swede. And then I keep on calling it a turnip. It's not. It's a swede. And then what we'll do, guys, is we'll start getting our flavour in, and then we'll be getting that in the oven. So I would say about another 15 minutes, and then we'll bang all this into the oven.
We have a question.
Go for it.
Lawrence Barnes.
Hello, Lawrence.
Do you put the ingredients list out for the week's recipes?
Lawrence, I don't, mate, and I've had this question previously. Purely because, Lawrence, I tend to do it on the day, which I know is not helpful for everyone, but what a lot of people do is follow these after. We only have a few people that follow them
Actually do it live, yeah.
Purely because, mate, I've come up against it where I've put ingredients up and then I've not been able to actually get them. Monkfish was a bit of a nightmare last week. And I didn't even put the ingredients up. I literally just said I'm going to do a monkfish and fried prawn curry. And yeah, monkfish seemed to be a little bit elusive. So what I'll do, this is obviously the method, and what I'll do is I'll post the ingredients up for this one after this today. But what I will do is get the stuffed spinach, chicken, the cream cheese and stuffed. No, the chicken breast with stuffed spinach and cream cheese. I will get that recipe up also this evening because I have all those ingredients ready to go.
But anything that we've done before, Lawrence, you can look on the Facebook page, and find the video for the method, and then all the ingredients lists will be close by for that particular day as well.
I posted up on the page on the same day. Is there anything in particular you like, Lawrence? Because I could point you in the right direction. Right, let us know. Ask Hannah the question whilst you're here, and I'll maybe recommend a dish.
He just said, great, thank you.
Oh. Fine. Glad to be of service. And I hope you're keeping well. Right, carrot. Throw it in the hole. Okay, so I'm going to go small rounds. Alright, so similar size to what we've got there. Small rounds. Not too thick because the carrot now, so those things that we've got, so the pepper, the onion, they're all quick, they're all cooked fairly reasonably. It's now your root vegetables, your harder, more kind of these type things. Yeah, these two will take a little bit longer. This one probably a little bit less. This one will soften up a little bit quicker. So you've got to think about that when you're chopping your vegetables. What takes longer and how we're going to go about cooking them or preparing them, should I say. Right, sweet.
We have another question.
Oh yeah, I like questions.
What's happened to your brow?
Your brow? I mean, you want me mono?
I think so. I think that's what he means.
What has happened to it? Who is it?
Rowan.
Rowan?
I didn't go near the brow, Rowan. I just did the hair.
Well, he probably doesn't mean brow. His spelling's getting worse as he's getting older.
Oh. What's happened to brow? And then there's a picture of 2 eyes.
Brow's alright, mate. What's going on about? I just haven't been able to get it. Oh, you know, maybe I just take the razor down the middle, just make sure he's not joining up. Right, guys, I've gone with half a Swede. How are you, Rowan, anyway? My lovely. You following this evening? Oh, no. Oh, actually, yeah, you could do this one. Just lose the lamb. Right, so similar sizes. Keeping this veg uniform. I'm going to go a little bit smaller than that one. That's that. Ah, good. Some size chunks. Sweet. That tends to be, on this dish, for me, this tends to be the one that takes the longest to cook. And I keep going back to it and testing it. This will be the one that will still be hard when everything else is ready to go. So just consider that.
A question from Gemma. She missed the start. What are we actually cooking tonight?
Which Gemma?
Honey Willow.
Oh, hello, Gemma. What are we cooking tonight?
Yeah.
Right, we are cooking a lamb tagine, Gemma. However, it can be adapted very simply into a vegetable tagine. So it's one of the dishes that we do at prep with your brother-in-law. Yeah, simply, mate, we've browned off our lamb, which is in our pot. We've now just given our onions, peppers and garlic a nice browning off. That's going to go in our pot. So for the purpose of tonight's demo, Gem, we are browning everything off, putting it in the casserole dish, then I'm going to finish it off in the oven, and I will send you all a picture of how amazing it looks later on, served with couscous. Because I don't think you all want to hang around for my tagine to cook in the oven for 45
I'm sure you could keep everyone entertained.
I probably could. I've got lots up my sleeve. A little bit more oil again. You might think it's a lot of oil going in, guys, but it's just purely to stop all these vegetables and that sticking to the pan. Right, so they're in. Okay, last but not least with the vegetables. I will get rid of all my gash in a minute. I'm going to go with about half. I've got that squash. Oh, these are big. Okay, so let's just peel. I've got that squash. Make sure you get all that waxy skin off.
That peeler's crap.
It is a rubbish peeler, and I have got a good one, but I just can't find it, and I didn't get it out early enough. Right, so that will be our last vegetable to go in. I did mention turnip earlier on, guys. Turnip would be a nice one in there. Gemma, you obviously missed the start. I did also say chickpeas are really nice. They could be your substitute for lamb, actually, Rowan. All the vegetables and some nice chickpeas. Get your protein up with a bit of chickpeas rather than the lamb. Okay, let's take the top off that one. Okay, let's go down in rings on that one. You can see how that's a little bit softer to cut than the Swede was. That's how you know it's going to be cooked that little bit quicker. Okay, into the rounds with that one. And then we'll just knock that into nice squares as well. So it's almost like a chunky dice. That's what we'll call it. New chef's terminology. So we'll be in the kitchen tomorrow. Me, Mum and guest chef Larry Grayson coming out to help us tomorrow. Voluntary helping us out as we've got 200 to do tomorrow. 200 plus actually, I think that was 200 without the Hugs from Henry's donation dishes. We've got ITV coming to film us tomorrow. That'll be exciting, hence the new haircut. They did not need to see the roof form that was going on underneath the hat I've been wearing. Right, okay guys, so I'm just going to give that a nice mixy. Lovely. Right, what I'm going to do next, get my kettle on to boil. Whoop. And that's just going to be for my stock. Right, so have a look in there, hands, you can see how that's starting to brown off. It's just nice when you're doing this type of dish, just to get a nice bit of browning into your vegetables and into your meat. Otherwise it can all just look a little bit pale.
Kuchi said he's going to catch up and do this one tomorrow.
No worries,
so we'll put a picture up at the end, mate, when it's all finished and served.
We will. Right, like I was saying, guys, I'm just using a little bit of thyme, just purely because we've got it left over, and I want to use it up. So I'm just going to take all of the stalk with the thyme, right, and you just give it a little pull, and all the leaves fall off it, and then you're just left with the stalk. Because the leaves will break up nice, and you won't even know they're in there. Just get the flavour, but the stalks, they kind of stay, and you don't want that. So thyme, stalks. Pardon? The camera lady tries to mouth things to me, but I can never understand what she's trying to say. You're going to have to get a card.
You're going to have to learn to lip read.
Yeah. Cool. So I might not use all of it. Kettle coming up to the boil. So again, if you're doing I'm putting some chicken stock in there now, just because that's what I've got. Right. But if you wanted a little bit of, if you were trying to keep it vegetable stock, it would be great. Okay, that's enough of that. Cool. Don't think I'll use much more of that now for the next couple of dishes. So that can go. Let's give those a stir. Lovely. I have not even started putting all the kind of main herbs and spices in yet, and that's already smelling really good. So a quick recap: 1 carrot, 2 peppers, 1 onion, half a swede, half a butternut squash, 2 cloves of garlic, okay, and half a leg of lamb. That's what we've got in there so far.
And some thyme.
And a little bit of thyme. Right, what we're going to do next, let's get our tin tomatoes in. The chopped tomatoes in the hole. Going to go with 2. Okay, stock-wise, guys, we'll just make enough stock just to make sure everything is covered in a minute. We don't want anything left dry. We want the whole dish covered in liquid, so it cooks in that liquid and doesn't go drying out. So I'm just mixing, remember the lamb's right at the bottom, so I'm just mixing that lamb up from the bottom now, so the lamb starts to combine with the vegetables. Beautiful. Right, what we'll do next then, everything's going to be in 2, right? We'll keep it really simple. So every spice that I'm about to use, 2. Okay, turmeric. How many, Hannah?
2.
2. Okay, that will give us a nice yellow colour, really good anti-inflammatory if you're struggling with certain injuries or inflammation of the muscles and joints.
It's a very popular spice, isn't it,
Very
in Morocco?
Spice. That's too big. Okay, so I'm just going to do what we've got here, ground cumin. Okay, I'm just going to give it a shake with my spoons, too blooming big. 2 seconds, let's go like this. Let's use the end. Okay, and so we've got 1, come on, and 2. You see how much I use the cumin. Okay, cumin to one side. Push your herbs to one side, guys, or sorry, your spices to one side so you know what you've used. Paprika, really, really popular. In fact, if you've ever been to Marrakesh or any of the Moroccan countries and go to the markets, you'll see all their spice mounds in the markets now. That's really cool, all the colours and all the smells. And then you go and buy loads of spices and that from Marrakesh, and you get them all in your cupboard, and then one day your wife's been in and cleaned the cupboards out and chucked away all your spices. So now you revert to buying Schwartz from the supermarket. Remember that day? Okay, 2 cayenne pepper going in. Lovely. That's going to be your heat there, guys. So if you wanted to reduce your heat, the paprika's not so hot, unless you've got a hot paprika. The paprika's going to be more smoky, right? The cayenne pepper, that's going to be the heat. So if you are worried or you've got children and they don't like it too spicy, that's where you maybe reduce that down to 1. 1 in a dish that size, you're probably not going to find that much, not going to really find those off. But this is our last one, Razel Hanou. Right, this is basically a Moroccan spice. Right, and that will just really kind of give it that real distinctive Moroccan flavour, okay? Oh, only got a little bit. Yeah, it's going in. It's gone, it's disappeared. There wasn't enough to keep. It's in. Right, so that's that real kind of nice flavour. We're going to go salt and pepper. We're not going to do that in 2 guys, we're just going to get that seasoning. The salt will help bring all the flavours out of all the lamb and all the vegetables. There we go, nice bit of browning on that veg, perfect. Let's get that veg in. Lovely, Hannah, thank you. So this is our swede, butternut squash and carrot. Oh, look at that, let's come right up to the top. Beautiful. Let's mix that through and then we're going to get some liquid in there. In fact, we'll get the liquid in there now to make it a little bit easier to mix. Let's get rid of that one. Lovely, so we've got somewhere in amongst my admin.
What are you looking for?
I've got a chicken stock. I'll put it over here. I said somewhere amongst my admin, didn't I? So chicken stock. Okay, I'm going to go with about 200 ml. Okay, if I need more, I'll just simply add more water. All right, that's all you're doing. Is you're just getting enough water to cover. If you have a look in there, Hannah, see it's all dry at the top. That's the last one we want. We want the water up here. Okay, it's not going to boil over. We're going to tin. If you've got a lid it. I broke my lid, so I'm just going to tin foil that in a minute, and I'm going to get that. Obviously, we're going to make sure I've got enough room in that oven. Drop it right down nice and low. And my oven, I've got it on the fan heat with the heat coming from the top and bottom as well. So the whole oven circulating that heat. So if you have got that option, then get that on. Right. So chicken stock in. This is our last little bit. Okay, and I'm going to go roughly 200 ml. Stir that up. I am going to need a bit more, I can tell already. But let's get our chicken stock melted first. So this is a real kind of wholesome, lots of veg, lots of carbohydrates from your veg, lots of flavour. Tomorrow night will be a little bit more quick, simple chicken, kind of more of a keto dish, paleo keto dish.
A lot of those spices are really good as well if you need a bit of an immune boost.
Yeah.
Cumin, turmeric, really good spices.
Cayenne pepper is great for your metabolism. Any chili is really good for your metabolism, get your metabolism going. Okay, let's make sure I mix all those flavours in. So all those spices need to go in. I'm going to need a little bit more water, probably about another 200 ml, I'd say. So I've gone, so let's call it 400 ml on the stock in the end, guys.
Depends on the size of your pot, really, doesn't it?
On the size of your pot. And like I said, you could cook all this in that wok. I could put it all in the wok. Yeah, get a lid for your wok, or just some tin foil if you haven't got a lid for your wok, and you could just turn it down to about a mid-heat. So if you're on gas, like a half heat. If you're on halogen or induction, like I am, maybe like a midway. So what mine goes up to a 12. So I put it on about a 6, like a simmer heat. All right, and then I would just maybe come and stir it, because obviously you're only getting the heat coming from the bottom. So I would maybe come and stir it every half an hour, just make sure it's not that is just so much, and it's a real good Sunday, going out for a walk, bang it on, in the oven, come back, and that there, you're probably thinking, Jesus Christ, that will feed a good 8 people, I'd say, with the couscous. By the time you've got a little bit of mint in there as well, you can serve it with a little bit of yogurt, maybe even a little bit of bread, a little bit of pita bread, something like that. Very traditional. Lovely. Okay, I'm going to leave it there, guys. I'm going to stop messing around with that. All right, maybe tad a little bit more water at the top. Just don't want it to dry out. So I'm going to get my tin foil on that. Okay, and then I'm going to pop that in the oven. And there, I will simply serve that at about 7:15 this evening. With some couscous, Alright, you could go really just nice and plain with your couscous if you wanted to, because there's so much flavour in that. You don't really need to be adding much more flavour. Cool. See you tomorrow morning for a resistance band. We haven't done a resistance band session yet, and I've had a couple of people message me or just say that we've got resistance bands at home. Could you give us something that we could do with those? So I just said, yeah, we will do a nice all-over session. So we're going to start with some shoulder work, going to do some bicep work, tricep work, into some legs, into some back. So the only thing we're not really going to do with the bands tomorrow is chest, purely because we've all been doing so many different press ups. Cool. Hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you tomorrow morning, and then back for some greens and chicken tomorrow evening. Catch you later.